Times why. Oh.
And we are live.
Wow, honey.
Press the button. We're just grabbing for talking about Blue Dragon and all that.
So we are officially live, and we are waiting for people to join us.
Hello
out there. There is a grand total of 0 people watching us right now, which is usually what happens.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
That's fine. We let the people trickle in slowly.
Yes.
It says device is not connected.
It's him.
Yeah, I know that's him, but do you have the ability to see everything else though?
Hello, Barbara Ann.
Maybe.
Hello, Addison.
We have people.
All
Hello,
right.
everybody.
All right, so I guess it's time to get serious now that we have an audience.
We have an audience.
Hello, Addison. Wow, people are showing up. So
People will come, Ray.
thanks, Dad. One of Kevin Costner's least bad films.
People will come, Ray.
Okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Ask Us Anything with Lord Fafnir and Spawn. Now, this event, as we have said before in the event description, but I will say it again here, this is a non-reading event tonight. This is a talking event for you to ask us questions about what readings we do, like any kind of question that you guys have for us to get to know us on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought friends.
As we do.
One of the things for these Ask Us Anythings is bringing psychic friends on that we have that do things that we do not. So this evening we have 2 lovely people, and I was making jokes about this earlier because we are a father-daughter team, and tonight we have a mother and daughter. It's so family. We're so family friendly. So, Amanda and Celeste, would you like to introduce yourselves to the people?
Yes, please do so.
Yeah, mine goes blank. I'm Celeste McElhaney. I do sculpture, and I also do some readings and stuff. My main business is technically Blue Dragon Collectibles, and I do mostly sculpture. Like, this is one of my big things I just did. So, sculpture, you know.
Oh, that's so
Nice.
Yeah, so this is actually just a experimental dragon bust, but it was big and around. Someone just asked a question. So yeah, it's me.
And I'm Amanda. Hi. I do read tarot, but I also do crystal divination, and I'm an energy healer. So I do Reiki and crystal healing and sell crystals and that kind of stuff too.
Very good.
Excellent.
And that's actually, to tell you the truth, Amanda, that was actually one of the reasons why we wanted to get you on the night, because obviously a lot of readers, we have some things which are very common, like tarot. That's probably one of the most common things. But crystal reading and crystal divination, that's something which is definitely a more specialty thing, and neither one of us know much about it at all.
No, we do not. So I'm actually excited to be educated this
Yes,
evening.
you to do things as well. So
Well, let's kick this off with a question from Addison. Hi,
Yes.
Addison. It's lovely that you joined us again. So, question for Amanda and Celeste. How long have you known you've been psychic?
Go first.
Oh, thanks. See, I don't know. I don't usually use the word psychic to describe myself. I've been reading cards since, I don't know, almost 30 years now. It's just kind of something that happened, and it seemed natural, and I went with it.
And for me, it was really interesting is that since I was raised from the beginning pagan and open to cards and everything else, like it was just normal for me to read cards. Like it wasn't a question of being psychic or not. It was a question of did I want to read cards or did I not want to read cards? Like it wasn't a big realization.
Oh my gosh, somebody that had a childhood like me.
I was
It's so weird, isn't it?
You know, I mean, I tell people about my childhood a lot, basically saying like what a freeing childhood it was and how, I feel very lucky because most people don't get to experience what I experienced. But
Yeah.
you did.
It's so weird to like tell that story. It's like,
So I guess I can ask a follow-up to that first question is how long have you been doing the crystal readings, and how'd you get into that in the first place?
All right. Let's see. How long have I been doing it? Probably almost as long. I don't know, 25 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. It was a long time ago, before children and whatnot.
before
What was children, man?
I've always been into crystals from when I was really, really little. So when I happened to see a crystal divination kit at a store, then it was a natural, just grab it. So
pretty much.
Oh, cool. So here we have one from Allison. What's your preferred deck to read from? They know what ours are, so I'm gonna go for what the two of you.
Yes, we talk about our decks a lot.
So something interesting. So for me, then the way I read is different than I don't just take like one deck and a couple cards or something like that. That's totally legit, valid for people. I read really weirdly. I use usually like 3-4 decks, mixing Lenormand, Oracle, and Tarot all together. So I start out with a base of the Dragon Tarot, which is the one you guys use. If I can grab the box here. So I usually
Dragon Tarot.
We all have dragons.
Dragon Tarot.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll draw a couple. I usually lay out a few of those, draw a couple tarot, Fairy Tale Lenormand. Let me get in the camera there. I can.
There you go.
There, you're angled. Yeah.
Okay, I heard that deck. Mm-hmm.
Then I'll draw a couple of. So those are kind of like to clarify a bit. Then I'll draw some oracle cards to kind of get like the overall picture. And for that, it kind of bounces between several oracle decks depending on what I'm feeling like. Although occasionally I'll switch to Cat Tarot. So really, I just kind of go with what feels right in the moment.
That's kind of the standard for us too, is what feels right in this moment.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes like doing some of our live streams and when we're doing some of the freebie readings, is that one of us will get the feeling to the other one and say, hey, use this deck.
Oh, well, reading with this deck has been super fun for me because I've just jumped right into it, even though I don't speak French at all. So there will be moments where I'm kind of like,
well, especially when it's funny. The French meaning the word is not the same as what it is in English.
Oh yeah. Friends of mine that know some French, were looking at the deck and they're like, oh, the tower is called the House of God.
The House of God.
And and I'm like, well, that's very interesting.
Yeah, and the Hermit's not called the Hermit, and the Magician's not called the Magician.
That's an interesting interpretation when you have things translated to different languages and stuff.
Yeah. Well, Waite tried to take out some of the heavy Christian influences there too. Obviously, the imagery is still there, but
Well, it's actually that makes me think of an interesting conversation I was having with one of my friends that's learning tarot. That was like a big question of sort of like, how do you deal with gender inside of tarot, especially with everything that's going now and the breaking down of gender norms and how gender is not a binary. How do you deal with the fact that a lot of times there's a very strong binary in most decks?
Oh yeah, especially with the court cards. No, but I just take it more as energies, like an inward kind of energy and an outward kind of energy.
Yeah, honestly, again, it's coming back to my bizarre childhood where I didn't really have the ingrained of there's these
what is gender
norms. Yeah, I didn't really have the ingrained societal norms as much as most people. So for me, it's just yeah, it's masculine and feminine, and that doesn't there's range. There's no boxes. and things. So it's just not a problem for me.
Well, we got a couple of questions coming in here.
Excellent.
Another one from Addison. How long did it take you to read the tarot cards and know the behind meaning to relay back towards your viewer? Well, like in terms like you've seen Dad and I in action. Like you've seen some of our live streams where we actually like we're doing the readings in real time. So I'm not Amanda and Celeste, you guys probably read different than we do, but you know, yeah, we do it in real time. What you see for the two of us is what is actually happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I mean, from my perspective, since my primary is the Dragon Tarot anyway, I really rely on my whole dragon spirit to kind of help out a little bit there. And the thing is, the way the artistry is on that particular deck is that there's like so many, there's like 5 and 6 depth layers of interpretation and meaning if you want to go that far. And it's like, what is it that stands out? So it's like, that's why I tell people, it's like, you know, the same card is going to have a different interpretation based upon who's in front of me and the question that's being asked and what kinds of other energy things are flowing around. So it's, it just kind of comes. It's it's not like that, like we like sit there and ponder, kind of go, hey, I wonder what the heck this is supposed to mean. Like, well, I mean, it's just kind of
right. Well, there's lots of meanings to the cards, and so I use generally the Hanson Roberts deck.
Ooh, pretty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like let me.
It's color pencil, and it's a little. It's very true to like the Waite Smith deck, but it's a little more approachable to a lot of people.
The colored pencil is a very interesting coloring technique on that
and I like the petite size of it.
Yeah, we have small hands, very small hands.
But to get back to the question, you know, you learn the traditional meanings, but then I don't know. At least for me, I rely on either what jumps out at me in the pictures or just an intuitive hit or whatever for whichever meaning is the one that applies.
Yeah, like it's tough for me. I usually take a little longer because I tend to use a lot of like just the way my brain works. I have to overcomplicate everything. So I sit here, I start doing just like a whole bunch of cards and like I have to look at them and then do a few more, look at it again, kind of let the interpretation settle in. It's hard to explain. But I do like, yeah, it takes a little longer than I'd say some people, but some people also take longer than me. So like, you know,
there's no wrong way to do it.
Right, you're finding your own way.
Right.
Yeah.
It's unique.
Yeah.
We are all unique. As you're unique, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to another one.
Sure, go for it.
Chelsea. Do you find crystals coincide with people's zodiacs? Like a certain crystal is better for grounding a Pisces versus an Aries, etc.
Okay, so there are certain crystals that people say like kind of match up with zodiac.
You don't really work with it.
Right. That's not something that I generally work with in a healing context. So each crystal has its own like energy vibrational pattern, just like each person has their own energy blueprint. So it's more about the meshing of those two energies together and how well those work together, more than like a zodiac kind of thing.
Yeah. So out of the two of us, she doesn't really work with the zodiac too much. I'm more the zodiac person. You definitely know way more about crystals and shit. No, but
yeah, Mom, you know way more about crystals.
Well, no, I'm just being honest. Like, if I have to ask someone to match a crystal to somebody, I will ask her. But I tend to feel the zodiac questions a little more.
I tend to think astrology is a little bit more complicated. So
it's not quite as complicated as you think sometimes, but you can get way more complicated.
See, that's where I overthink it.
See, I know where to draw the line.
I overthink my own astrology
I was
so
just saying,
much.
you know,
I overthink it, but like,
it's just like different specifics, but this sounds like us.
It really does. See, I knew this was going to be a fun idea for us.
But yeah, so like if I was if I knew like a friend came to me or something was like, I want to find some crystals that have to do with like something in their life, then for all like I might very well actually go and look at their chart just because it helps me think about it a little more. I like to get into that stuff. But it is like she said, it is just about an individual and like the energies of the individual kind of working with the energies of the crystal. So
Okay.
I think astrology is a tool to get there.
Well, let's give an example. I mean, just on the fly. Let's say it's I came to you for this. And said, obviously you guys have met me, so you know me, you know a little bit about me, but you don't it's not like that we've known each other for for gobs and gobs of years. So the thing is, so there's a little bit of known and a lot more unknown. So now I'm a Libra. That's my sun sign. My moon sign happens to be what?
She's a Libra too.
Oh, so my moon sign. Okay, let's see how close this is here. Moon sign is Scorpio, and my rising sign is Virgo.
My moon sign is Virgo. My rising sign is Sag.
So now given that, what would you say to me, or what would you quote recommend from a crystal perspective, or is it just not good enough that you would need something?
I don't know. I don't typically go that way. That's not how my brain works. It's usually like somebody asks me what's a good crystal for this, or I'm having this issue, so what would be good for that. That's generally more the approach I kind of go.
Okay.
Well, that's actually that's how Mom found the carnelian for me way back when I was having all of my sad uterus health issues.
Oh yeah.
Because apparently carnelian is the crystal for that.
It's one of them, yeah.
Oh, like I ever since she told me about that, I've been carrying a chunk around with me for forever. I'm like, cool, I'll just keep this with me.
Yeah, that's good. Moonstone's another good one for that kind of thing.
I have a moonstone in my pentacle.
Oh, well, there you go.
Ha ha.
Yeah.
I find people's combinations of the three main, the moon and the tangent, but the sun, moon, rising. Like I find those so fascinating to hear what people's are.
Oh my god, I'll tell you mine because mine kills me.
I was gonna say yeah. So what do you think about
I have.
So you heard mine. Now go ahead and say yours.
Hello, I am a Leo with a Cancer moon.
And what's your rising?
I am a Capricorn rising.
Oh God.
Help me! Help!
Oh, that's so painful. I'm sorry.
I know.
I say this as an Aries with a Taurus moon and a Scorpio rising.
Oh, no wonder we get along.
Yeah, this is frightening.
Another question from Allison. Hello again, Allison. What crystals would you recommend for empath / psychic protection?
Okay, if I had to say one, I'd say labradorite because it helps kind of like build up your aura. It helps strengthen it to help keep people's stuff out. So it's really effective for that. And then also black tourmaline is a really good protection stone in general.
I actually, so spoiler alert, I actually wear tourmaline during fairs, all fairs.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I need like during that day when it's just constantly go, like I need that. And on the days that I forget to wear it, I can tell, and so can you.
And so can I, yes.
Yeah, I have a rainbow tourmaline bracelet that I wear, especially at fairs and whatnot.
I should use it more, but
there's some energy medicine techniques that are really good too. There's a lady named Donna Eden. She was born with the ability to see our energies. And she has this thing called the daily energy routine, and it's a series of like tapping and some movements or whatnot. And it helps get your energies all flowing the way it should. So the daily energy routine is like the big thing.
And there's parts where like if you do the routine for a while and then stop and then restart again, there's usually like parts of tapping that like start hurting.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I know I should have been doing this.
Yeah, but specifically for like empathic protection, there's one called the hookup, where you take one middle finger and put it in your navel, and the other between your brows. You kind of push in and push up. You take a deep breath.
I think that always makes me yawn.
It always makes me yawn.
Every single time.
Yeah. So you push and push up. And then the other one.
Full demonstration.
Yes, you're doing your Vanna White thing there. The other one is called the zippa, and you take both hands and you go from the bottom of your torso and bring it up, and you do that 3 times, and then you turn the key to lock and chuck it, and it connects your governing and your central meridians, and it helps keep that circle of energy kind of doing its thing, and it helps keep other people's crap out.
And that's what we want. Other people's crap out.
Right, yeah. So anytime you're about to go into like a large gathering, then that's really
keep
good to do.
me, and you, and don't let the energies mix up a bunch.
Yeah.
Mine, yours, yay.
Go into all the crystal fairs and stuff, and you're bombarded with people's energy and crystal energy and all that kind of stuff. So it can be really overwhelming if you don't do something.
Especially when people touch everything with their grabby hands.
Yeah.
That grabby hand.
Since I'm bizarre, then I just have, I don't even remember what the name is. I have this particular crystal. I tend to gravitate a lot towards the very heavy metallic crystals. Yeah. You hurt out, but
Very
like
philosophical question we've got coming in.
Yeah, so
How do you know what you are?
is that in reference?
I'm guessing that's an astrological reference.
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure, so
Addison, maybe clarify what you mean.
yeah, slight clarification on are you
An
talking
astrological
astrology?
question. Then you can go to astro.com and you put in where you were born and what time you were born and your birthday and whatnot, and it'll bring up a chart. And on your chart, it'll say your sun, your moon, your rising, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Oh, is this on Fafnir's?
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
Yes, the moon rising.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of websites
Yeah,
that
there's
you
a
can.
whole ton of free
can just-
websites.
That's just the one that I happen to go to. It's free. So
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can. Yeah.
Here, I'll post it on that. Boing.
And then we have, do birthstones coincide with the crystals that we use to read people? For example, my birthday is June and would be Alexandrite. Did I say that right?
yeah, that's right. But
Yay!
there's
For the win.
there's multiple birthstones for each sign.
Hmm.
And when I do readings, then I don't touch on that.
Yeah, I'd also note that this might be referring to birthstones, meaning the thing constructed by the Jewelers Association,
Okay.
as
Yeah.
opposed
So
to astrological ones.
so there are the
Yeah.
birthstones that you see like on calendars or stuff. Those came out in the 30s from the gem. I forget. It was some gem.
Some corporation.
Yeah,
association,
somebody.
right? Some of them have basis in zodiac type stones, but not all of them.
Yeah, so.
It's just a mishmash. What can we sell this month? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which,
so.
makes me feel better because I can't stand my birthstone.
I like mine.
Mine's like peridot or peridot.
Peridot.
Yeah, I don't.
The like.
Not my color.
Yeah.
I don't even know what mine is for October.
I
It's
don't know
opal.
yours is.
Opal and tourmaline, pink tourmaline, rubellite.
See, those are pretty. Why do you get pretty things and not me?
Because
Do you feel pretty?
I
So
feel pretty.
Pretty and witty and gay.
I'm glad you sang it. It popped in my brain.
Yeah, if I remembered any of the words to anything other than 80s music, then I would.
That's one of the things which I have been doing. Well, I'm doing even more of it now. I'm a clairaudient as well as a clairvoyant. So the thing is, I've been hearing a lot more stuff of late. And guess what's all coming in as? Musical songs.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, it's
Your life is now a musical. Don't you feel?
We're starting a musical. Musical at present.
See, it's a sing along now too.
That's right. We're hitting all the.
Oh, don't get me started because I'll be playing all night long.
Wait, okay, so raindrops on roses and whispers on kitten. No, okay.
Step in time. Never mind.
I mean, I know some Rowdy Bar songs, but.
Oh, a question to get us back on track. Are there any negative crystals? You never hear about those, so I wonder if they even exist.
I would say not negative crystals per se. There are some that don't work well with certain people. So hematite is a popular grounding stone, but it's one that I don't. It doesn't agree with me, so I don't touch it. But it's not.
That's what they eat it.
Yeah.
I've had some
Sorry.
I've had some interesting hematite experiences because I used to use hematite before I used tourmaline.
Mhm.
And my thing with hematite is the hematite would eventually just soak everything in. So eventually I kind of realized that I was carrying around this nugget that was just soaking everything in like a sponge.
You're supposed to then let it diffuse.
That's when you cleanse your crystal to get it out. You cleanse them to get rid of that crud.
Yeah. But like after a certain point, like even when I was cleansing it, it still felt like it was residual, and I did not like that.
Yeah, and kind of to add to that, then like sometimes because when you just find a crystal or anything laying around, you don't know what it's been around, so you could pick up a crystal that's complete or an object, just that's really powerfully infused with negative energy. So
because telemetry is a thing.
So yeah, you could totally pick up a crystal that, like, if it was just hanging out in the woods somewhere, it'd be fine. But since it was around something,
an
that was
individual
negative,
crystal picked up something.
Yeah.
So
So it could be a negative crystal.
Can be yucky and have yucky energy.
Yeah.
So those, if you cleanse them, it's usually pretty good. So, but like I said, some crystals just don't mesh well with your energy. So
that's very true.
Well, we've been on for a little bit more than half an hour. You want to run the commercials?
Is it commercial time?
It's commercial time. And show off our great new banners for our friends over there.
Indeed. So first, because I have our commercial absolutely memorized, I'm going to start there. So, no. That was your phone, Lord Fafnir.
That feels like it's a telemarketing kind of commercial.
Yeah, it is.
One moment while he silences his phone.
Are those telephone calls getting annoying?
Yeah.
Slightly. There are so many of them. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Okay. So, we are Lord Fafnir and Spawn Psychic Readers. You can find us so many places. The link right now that you are seeing is our PayPal link, paypal.me/Fafnir and Spawn. For any of the free work that we do, tips are always welcome on these streams, on our free streams. Obviously, on our paid streams, you pay to get into those, so that is fine. We also have a YouTube channel, which is Lord Fafnir and Spawn Psychic Readers. You can find us at our website, www.fafnirandspawn.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Lord Fafnir and Spawn Psychic Readers, and on Instagram at Fafnir and Spawn, where we do daily tarot draws. So we're doing stuff. We also have our next paid stream is going to be what, next Friday?
We haven't officially set that date, but if you want to set it for next Friday,
it's going to be next Friday.
The Friday before Labor Day.
The Friday before Labor Day, it's going to be. Yes. So for those of you that have been here before and that have seen these before, once a month we do a paid private stream that is meant to be a deeper and fuller version of what we do on the free streams, because on the free streams what we do is very limited because we don't want to air people's dirty laundry. But if you join our private stream, then it's a bit like group therapy, group reading, and we can break down barriers and get much deeper, and it's very nice. We've done 2 so far and they have been very, very enjoyable. All right, now let's flip to some other people. Commercials for other people. Ha, 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 ha. So let us go.
Oh yeah.
Hey Celeste, it's your turn.
I did not pay for this. Yes. So I'm a human. I think. So Celeste Mackley, Blue Dragon Collectibles. I have a website at bluedragoncollectibles.com. Also, yeah, the Facebook page. I do fantastical sculpture. Dragons, gnomes, trolls, all sorts of fun things. I literally just finished this guy off, like tiny little dragon. Well, tiny, I say.
I like.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, for me this is huge.
Hold on.
Please hold it.
Yeah, I'll hold it.
Okay.
And what you can't see here is it's kind of like iridescent on this light tan kind of color.
Oh
on the
yeah,
body.
it's like.
Oh, he is very cute.
And you can even see little feather details.
You're like showing.
Very nice. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, and I also do readings and stuff, but I don't have it listed places. But
you just have to hit her up.
Yeah, message me.
Facebook.
I've done message readings for bunches of people. I just haven't gotten around to actually putting it out there that I do stuff. So yes, that's me.
All right, and the final commercial for this round is for
share this.
That lady.
Hello. Okay, so Star and Owl is actually my new Facebook page. I have a Facebook page and an Etsy shop where I do readings. You'll see on there's different kinds of tarot readings and also a crystal cast, which is the crystal divination that I do. I also do energy healing, and I sell crystals and tarot decks and other goodies like that, but that's on my website. That's amandamcellany.com.
Woo!
So
I can't silence this stupid thing.
Oh my.
Just breathe. It's like,
yeah,
Matt.
Also, if you're looking for properties of crystals, if you go onto my website, the amandamcellany.com one, in each product description on its page, then it gives the properties. So it's like a online crystal encyclopedia too.
Yeah.
During the commercial, we were given 2 more questions. What's the correct way to cleanse crystals? I've been using Palo Santo or submerging them in sea salt.
Okay, so if you ask 20 different crystal people how to cleanse your crystals, you're going to get 20 different ways to cleanse. I don't use Palo Santo for anything. There's a lot of unethical harvesting of it. So passing crystals through the smoke of whether it's that or sage or some other incense is one way. With sea salt, you just have to be careful. If you look at the most hardness, you don't want the number of the hardness to be lower than the number for salt because it can scratch them. So yes, you can put it on sea salt. Just be careful of that. Water, once again, that can damage some crystals. So I don't particularly use that, but that's another common way. Some people put crystals out in the moonlight, either the full moon or the new moon, depending on what they want.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite is sound cleansing. So a singing bowl or tinctures, or on YouTube, there's videos on there that have those kinds of things. Just play something like that. That, just stick it near the computer or make the noise. Some people use their voice. That's not really a me thing.
You probably feel self-conscious about singing to a crystal.
I would just feel
I don't
self-conscious.
think we would at all.
I mean, if you're
not what I was thinking, but okay.
No.
If you're attuned to Reiki, then you can Reiki your crystals to cleanse them as well. I think I hit pretty much all of them. Yeah. I think that's pretty much.
Stubbornness is a way to cleanse them. I don't think.
No. Then your cleansing crystals would be all set.
Everything around me would be just completely clean all the time.
So I want to cleanse my house of negative energy. However, my mom passed away and she was crazy, lol. Not the best, lol. I don't want her to go away. How could I go about this? The amount of lols in there was odd to read, but
okay. So for as far as crystals go, then you can grid your house. You take a piece of black tourmaline and a piece of selenite and put it at every exterior corner. So if your house is a big rectangle, then you need 4, one for each. Or if it's, has a jet out, then you'd probably need 6 for that inside corner.
Yeah.
You put them in the corners, and then it's usually best also to put a piece of amethyst somewhere in the central part of the house. And that'll help keep out the bad junk, but let the good stuff come in. That's why I use both the selenite and the tourmaline. So that would not make her go away, but would keep out some of the negative stuff.
Yeah. But if she is inherently a negative influence, then it would kind of ward the negative stuff away.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the smoke cleansing bit that you can do too.
Yeah. And you can also, if you're not a person who's comfortable with incense or smoke of any kind, then there's also sprays.
Yeah, sprays.
You can do.
Mm-hmm. Like a sage spray or something like that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And a pinch of some salt water theoretically should work, right?
So, Amanda, how do you actually do a crystal reading? What does that actually entail?
Well, the one that I've been doing the longest is called a crystal Starcast, and it involves a bunch of crystals.
Shocking.
No,
weird.
And then it also has a reading mat. And if you look, it's an astrology house wheel.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would lay this on the table, and then the crystals in this particular system correspond to planets. So you take the crystals, there's like a handful of them. There we go.
Find the camera.
Where's the camera? And then you take it about 6 inches or so above the mat, and then you release them. And then you go from there. And depending on which crystal lands in which house, or if they bounce out, or if they're in the middle, and which ones are next to each other, then that influences the interpretation. So that's one method of crystal. There's other ones where you don't use a reading mat.
Yeah, and this one is very highly astrologically linked.
Yeah. And then there's other ones that don't use the astrology thing. Some of them do still link crystals to planets on some of them, and then have personal crystals for like life and love and luck and things like that. And then I'm in the process of developing a kit myself that's totally separate from astrology and planets and stuff.
Yeah, it's just based more on the crystals themselves and stuff.
Right. Yeah. The meanings are based on the properties of the crystals.
Yeah, that doesn't have a complicated chart or anything.
No. No, that one is just with a circle of cording.
Yes, I have used it once. I need to use it more. Just test it more.
Yeah, I'm kind of testing it out right now.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never had that done for me.
No, I've never had crystal work done for me, actually, now that I think about it.
I know so little about crystals. I don't even wear crystals.
I am very much, if I were a dragon, my horde would probably be crystals because shiny. I have a ton of crystals.
Mm-hmm.
But if I actually lined them all up and was like, I know maybe what half of them are.
Yeah, that's fair. I collect random things. I don't think my horde would be more like 60% dice, but
dice and crystals. Yeah, that makes sense. That's your dragon horde.
Shiny things that make click clack sound.
Yeah, that's a common thing for people to just kind of cluster them when they make you feel so good and they're pretty. So
Look at my shiny rocks.
Right, yeah, people wind
Yeah.
up with this big pile of rocks. So actually, sometimes at fair, people will like pull a wad out of their their pocket and be like, "What are these?"
I happen to have these on me today. What are they?
Let's say gravel, asphalt,
There's a granite. Oh, so here's a fun one that we generally ask everybody that's been on. Weirdest reading experience that you guys have had.
yes, readings that have not gone so well, or just
Very
strange, bizarre things that have happened. We all have them.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm also trying to remember. Weirdly enough, I haven't read for many years or anything, but like I've read for at least a decent number of people's point, and I haven't had that many weird experiences. It's bizarre.
So the first fair that I read at, I got somebody that sat down and lay out the cards, and like every single bad card that could possibly come out came out all in this one thing. So I'm sitting there trying to not show too much on my face while I'm trying to ponder what this means. I'm like, I have to say this doesn't look so good. But yeah, it was their life was kind of in shambles because they were getting divorced and all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah.
It made sense. It's just, the first fair I was reading in person at, and all these bad cards come out.
Yeah.
It's like a scary scene from a movie.
I remember like when I was back, like when I was reading as a teenager, because like one of the things that really got me like focused on my readings was I used to do like church camp when I was a kid. So like we go to a Unitarian Universalist church, and I used to do youth conventions, which was basically church camp but way cooler. And I would always bring my cards because inevitably someone would ask me for a reading, which would wind up being me reading everyone.
Yeah.
And the thing about being in a church of between 30 to 60 angsty teenagers is that everyone's reading is full of angst. And eventually you just feel like you're repeating it's
I hope you had your tourmaline on.
Oh God.
This was before I figured that out.
Yeah, you came back to those things a complete emotional wreck.
Yeah, well then there was also the we didn't sleep bit. That was one of the huge things that caused.
That doesn't help either.
You don't sleep. So like I would come back, I would come back. They would drop me off Friday night, and I would come back Sunday morning and just be like, I'm dead, collapse. I recorded a Mischief Managed CD like that once.
Oh boy.
I remember.
Yeah, and it was an 8
That
hour.
sounds memorable.
But yeah, having to like tell people bad stuff in readings can be very difficult.
Yeah.
Well, but people want to know the truth, though.
Oh yeah.
That's why we typically give them disclaimers up front saying, no sugar coated stuff here, not holding back, so.
Yeah, they generally.
I always do that at the beginning of reading. It's like, all right, just so you know, I'm telling you what I see. I'm sorry if it sucks, but
it might not be what you want to hear. But
yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I would say 9 times out of 10, people don't mind that because they want the honesty.
Yeah.
But then again, you get certain people that kind of go, no, they want you to say what they want to hear, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's like,
and they'll deny it. They go, no, it this could mean this, right? Like, no.
Hello, I'm the professional here.
You me.
You're paying me. Here go. I'm a professional. But oh yeah, we've all had our trials and tribulations when it comes to reading certain people.
That is very true. And I'm also interested, like Amanda, because with your energy healing stuff, you're actually trained in that.
Yeah.
with my I call it Reiki-like. Like it's not, but it's the closest thing that I
Reiki-like
can,
or Reiki light?
Reiki-like.
Okay.
Because it's the closest thing that I can like that will get people to understand what I'm trying to say.
So I just want to clarify a little bit. So yes, I'm trained. I'm a Reiki master and all that kind of stuff. Went to in-person training and all that. I read extensively on crystals and crystal healing practices and stuff. But much of what I do is taking all that analytical knowledge stuff and combining it with the intuitive stuff and kind of coming at the place in the middle there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Say
So,
yeah.
You have
so
to do.
yes, trained, but it's not all, from the book, I guess.
Well, it can't. Well, it can't be because I mean the book gets you the mechanical basics, but that's as far as it goes.
Right. It's a place to start.
Mhm.
Just basics to start with.
Yeah, and like one of my things about my journey is that I have read 0 books about any of the things that I do. I just kind of started it and figured it out on my own and made it work for me.
Well,
and
you did have some help anyway.
yes,
My Virgo moon doesn't let me do that. It makes me read all the things.
And my Aries.
And make spreadsheets about them. So
my Aries sun gets really impatient and like, why are you doing this?
Oh, look at my spreadsheet.
Oh, good, Dad. Ethan's here. It's like Ethan's here, Dad. Yay!
I like books, but not that much.
I like books too, but apparently not when I'm naturally gifted at something. Then I'm like, books.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was basically how that went.
No, yeah, see, my logical mind likes to analyze everything. So if I read the books, it tells me that what my intuitive brain is saying is fine.
Well, it's like when I started to learn how to do palm readings and I was reading the things that were out there, I'm going to go, this book says this line says this. This book says this line means something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, the more like people have ask when I do palm readings, they say, what is mine based off of? And I say, honestly, the way I do it is based off of 5 different philosophies, because I've discovered by reading all the philosophies pretty in detail, going, okay, it's like with religions, no one's got the whole correct answer. Everyone has kind of a piece of it, and you have to like find your own way through it. So like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a lot of intuitive stuff's going on with that. So it's just like so many other things. The books, the things, the people who write those things. Hey, great, go for it. You're a great reference, but do you have 100% all the right answers? No. It's like, I don't either. Like my hybrid version way of doing it. Am I getting it right 1,000% of the time? No.
Well, it's like the book that Matt gave us a few weeks ago. So, our sound man, my partner, lovely human. I'm super into him. Weird.
I would hope so.
I'm confused.
He has a huge, large collection of books, and he found a book on astrology that he had, and he was like, I don't need this. Do you want this?
It was a very amusing read, let me tell you.
And so we found out after reading it that it was written in the 60s. And the information in it is still mostly solid to this day, but it is so sexist.
Yeah, we're talking.
Oh my god!
We're talking early 60s, by the way. So we're not even talking. 60, right? 1964.
The year my mother was born.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're not even talking. Sign up. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius and all that stuff. It hasn't happened yet. Oh no, this was the female is the weaker of the sexes. This was actually written in this book, by the way. I was reading the section.
I'm helpless.
Oh yeah, totally helpless. I was reading about the whole put of her combination of her sun sign and her moon sign and her love life. And I'm reading this, and I like reading it to her, and she's like, "Yeah, this makes pretty much sense." And then I went, "Wait a minute! This basically says that you're a woman, therefore you're completely ineffectual at doing certain things because you're a woman." And I'm like, what year is this from? Oh, it's written in 1964. This makes sense now.
You're welcome.
It was great comedy reading at that point. It's like, see, yeah, I mean, like, okay, 50 some years ago, this would have made perfect sense,
right?
Yeah, but that's the.
All right. And we have a question. Are there any crystals you refuse to use? Why?
I'll just skip over my other one.
Yeah, I did.
Crystals I refuse to use. I don't like using man-made crystals. So like goldstone, it's glass and copper speckless.
Oh, interesting. So, how would you feel about like a man-made emerald, so to speak? Would you basically, you wouldn't be using anything that's artificially created?
That's not my thing. No.
Okay.
No.
That makes sense.
And then there's a lot of those aura crystals. So the original one is the aqua aura, and the process that one gets made is they take metals, gold, and it gets put into the air. So it's like just little particles in the air in this thing. And then it gets molecularly bonded to the outside of the quartz. But a lot of the a lot of the aura quartzes out there now are just a painted finish. So that's also something that I pass on.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. I don't. I'm a little more tolerant, I suppose, of man-mades by a little bit. I still don't really
the younger generation.
It's like I don't really enjoy using them that much, but if they seem to vibe for what I need, then I just like, sure, why not? But I'll also note that like I'll use other materials like crystals for my own personal stuff. Like like I won't just use, like, if I'm looking for something to ward off negative energy, like you would probably say like black tourmaline or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you might go with black tourmaline. I might use this like I literally have a fossilized tooth, a fossilized mosasaur tooth, which I will be making into an amulet for myself to ward away
I have
water
fossils
dangers.
in my kit too.
Yeah, but you don't use. I don't mean fossils as in normal. Turtle agate doesn't count.
Why doesn't that count?
Because you count it as a crystal, mentally speaking.
Get the little pouch out of
You
there.
count it as a crystal. You don't count it as a found object.
No,
Which
it's not.
I love watching the other family banter.
It's not like what you-
I know, it's literally like watching us, but it isn't.
Yeah, different specifics, but yeah.
So this is Tortella agate, and of course on this particular piece it's going to be really hard to see. But if you see the whitish spots,
I have a piece of it in my pocket.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
here you go. I have a piece of it in my pocket. What's better?
okay. So you can see
the shell.
those
right
are
there.
those are fossilized shells
See
in
it.
there.
Mhm.
So that's actually one that I like to use in my sessions and stuff a lot. And as you can see, it's a fossil, so I don't know what she's talking about. But even crystals that I don't personally,
it is fossil, but
the crystals that I don't personally drive with, like hematite or whatnot, I still have them in my healing kit because sometimes that's what somebody else needs. So I would say probably just the man-made ones are the ones I don't particularly go for.
and all I meant was that I would literally go out into the woods, find a stick, and make an amulet out of that for myself. Whereas you probably
Well, that's not crystal healing.
yeah. Well, I was
So you're a crow.
Yes.
yeah, or a dragon crow.
I like it. Here's another one. What are the most expensive crystals that you use?
Okay. So there are some people that will tell you that you need to get the museum quality, finest grade, clearest gem, whatever crystals that you need to use. But I don't.
Not.
Yeah, I don't really go. I don't really go by that. I have emeralds, but they're not the clear gem variety. They're the opaque ones. I have moldavite. That's kind of pricey, and some Herkimer
Moldavite's nice.
Herkimer diamonds, but nothing that's really super expensive because I don't really feel the need to.
Yeah, I technically own Larimar and Moldavite, but not much
Larimar,
of it. And that's not really that expensive in the gen. Like, it's expensive, but in the larger crystal world, it's not that bad.
So in my healing or divinatory kits, the most expensive one is probably in the $40 or $50 range.
Yeah.
You're reminding me a little bit of like the Barefoot Contessa, a little bit like right there, just like, and if you can't find the really expensive crystal, Starbot is fine.
working with crystals is really accessible. I don't, I want people to enjoy them and work with them and not think that they can't because they need this, $200 piece.
So you're okay with zirconium over a diamond, right?
Here's a follow-up to
No, Herkimer diamonds are not man-made. They're a variety of quartz that were originally found in Herkimer, New York, hence the name. But they're super clear, they're double terminated, and they're found in a particular spot.
I've got one. I always thought they were man-made.
Here's another one.
Well-
Is obsidian considered a crystal?
Okay, so geologically, no, it's not.
I was volcanic rock.
It's volcanic rock.
It's volcanic glass, essentially. But yeah. I do use obsidian in with my crystals. I lump them in there. It does have a particular energy about it, but geologically speaking, it's not a crystal.
Yeah, I mean, I love obsidian. It's so pretty.
Yeah. Right, and there's all sorts of varieties. You get rainbow obsidian with the pretty colors, and snowflake obsidian with the sparkles, and Apache tear obsidian that you can see through.
But yeah, if you think about what obsidian looks like when it breaks, like why it looks like a piece of broken glass, because it is glass.
Ooh, here's a fun one for the two of you. What do the two of you disagree on the most?
Yes, in life.
This is part of the fun part that I wanted. The family angle. Yay!
Oh God.
I don't know.
I don't even know.
So something that popped up, just an interesting fun fact about us, is that our birthdays are exactly 6 months apart.
Oh yeah, exactly the opposites.
Yeah, so like she said, she's Aries because she was born in April, and a Libra because I was born in October. But
same day.
It's the same day of the month even.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It means that we have two very different styles of going at things.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're complete opposites. It's just
Right,
basically.
But we can bounce things off of each other pretty good to get a totally different perspective, and I think that helps a lot.
Of course, you're the combination of you're the air and the fire, but the thing is, sometimes you're the fuel to the fire, and sometimes the one blows the other one out. Sound familiar?
I've seen similarities.
God, that doesn't sound like an accurate description of our relate. Oh wait, we're talking about them.
Yeah, we're talking about them, not us.
See, I knew this was a good idea.
Yeah, you didn't know how well this good idea this was until you got the thing going.
Hit.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all good.
Oh, here's one. Do you use crystal grids for personal or business or both?
Both.
You're like, yes. Yes, it's always just the best question.
You can make a crystal grid for pretty much anything you want to attract into your life. So yes, I do it with personal stuff. I do it for business reasons, for business stuff, and then I also incorporate those into healing sessions as well. So
I think you sell.
Oh, and I
was gonna say you sell grid kits too.
I sell grid kits too, and I have a grid class actually. Yeah.
Yes,
I forgot about that. I have an online class on all about crystal grids, making them, and how to do that and everything.
It's basically
you get better at your own commercials.
I know, right?
This one isn't good at self-promoting.
No.
Look, I'm just good at it because I had years of practice from hawking this dude's CDs back in the day.
I can sell Celeste stuff. That's not a problem.
And see, my problem is just remembering to talk about things, because if you get me talking about it, then I will not stop talking about it.
Yes.
So speaking of commercials, our hour of Ask Us Anything is winding down. And so anybody get your last minute questions in there, like this one we just had popped up. Question for both teams. If you both read a customer at the same time, how do you decide whose interpretation to go with? Ooh, yay! I love this one because, I mean, you guys have been seeing us read together for as a team. You guys have actually gotten to see us do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that you'll notice is we kind of compromise on the interpretation, because I never say that he's wrong about something, but it's more like, you forgot this piece. There's also this piece, and this piece, and also this piece. So you got this half here, but let me just pick up this half here, and then we'll go boop! Just like that. That's exactly how it goes.
I love just the completely stoic face.
Well, I kind of affected the one time that I did a reading and she basically then added her some other words. She says, "Tell you what, this is great. Now, let me millennial you."
I did say that. That is
yes,
a phrase.
That's
that
a phrase that you use. The thing, and so
I enjoy the
when she's the primary one, starting off, and then all of a sudden I kind of like look over the shoulder, and I go, "Aha, okay, this makes sense." Blah blah blah. But did you consider this? Da, 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 da. And so I don't say we've never really totally contradicted each other.
I don't think I've ever contradicted.
No, but the thing is, we see different things, and they complement each other more than anything else.
So how about you two?
We haven't actually done. So technically, we haven't sat down and read, done here's a reading of us doing a reading for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I have shown. I don't think I've offered any. I don't think I've offered anything to a reading of yours. I have done a reading, and then kind of just was curious about what her interpretation of it. Just like here's no context. Here's cards. What's your interpretation? It'd be interesting seeing what comes up.
No context. I like that. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because usually you'll come up with something very different than me. The only problem I'd say for us, our style of reading is so different that I don't think us personally can really we have to practice a lot to do a reading in conjunction, especially because my style of reading is so bizarre.
Here, let's
on us. I volunteer.
Well, literally, I wish I could show a picture or something now, because of course I don't have anything prepared. But I'll draw 5 tarot cards, and then here will be 3 pairs of Lenormands, and here's 2 more Oracle, and oh wait, I want to delve more into this, so I'm going to draw a few more over here, and then a few I will get really complicated with this, and that is not the way you do readings. So
not quite.
Yeah, and when you do a reading, then I'd be wait, but I want to draw more cards.
Yeah,
I want to draw more
other
cards.
10 cards?
Yeah. So I don't feel like we would read together terribly well.
Okay, so last, here's a question: How are you good at just doing a 1 card? Can you do, because what you're saying is that you kind of, in my opinion, you start and then you kind of overcomplicate things because of the way that you're processing it. So the thing is, if you were limited time wise, and say could only do 1 or 3 cards, is that something that you feel that you can really handle easily? Or is that really kind of not really where your strengths are?
My strength definitely isn't short cards. I personally would not do 1. I would do 3. If I was pressed for time, then I would, and I was all right, 5 minutes, do a reading. I wouldn't do 1. 1 card is just not enough.
Okay.
My personal opinion.
I love 1 cards. So
The reason why I asked that silly question is the fact of I did a party once.
Hang on a second.
In Salem, Mass, a number of years ago, where we were working literally. There was a room full of, there were 10 of us. We had to work over an entire ballroom full of people, and we were told 5 minutes per person, 3 cards. And literally we had people watching us 5 minutes, get them in, get them out, because everything was timed crucially for the event. So it was okay, how do you pull off, 3 hours worth of 5 minute 3 card readings? But anyway, what you got there?
The 7 of coins. So earthly resolution.
Oh, you did just a quick 1 draw for yourself.
Oh, yeah, well, because I was basically just kind of hang on, I'm just going to do this right now because I can.
A random. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Because,
coins.
I personally,
It's a good card.
what Celeste is describing is making my brain go.
And now you know why we don't really read with each other generally.
Because the
my brain
more
does the
cards
same
I have, the happier I am generally.
Look at my 1 card random draw.
Chevalier de Coup!
That sounds like a battle cry.
The Knight of Cups.
For anyone who's speaking French, that one, any French speakers on the stream, that one little French nugget. There you go.
So if you want the English version of it, it's the Knight of Cups.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love
change of the heart.
I love small, because I also Celeste. One thing you mentioned of throwing cards out and going, "What's your interpretation?" I've done that to him too. Because there have been times when I'll be reading someone and I'll pull a card and I'll be like, why are you here? I don't understand why you showed up. And so then I'll look at him and be like, hey, why?
A message for you, not for the reader. Because that happens sometimes. Sometimes we draw cards, we find that they're for us. We find that sometimes cards are following us.
Ever disagree after a reading and it create an argument? I mean, yes, but never about a reading. We disagree about other things because family.
Yeah, I don't know if it happened yet.
No, we've never argued about a reading interpretation.
Yes, because you don't do it right. Had to throw that one out there.
All right, so we are a little bit past our time. Any last minute questions? Let's see. Yes. Ever have a day that you just don't feel the cards are talking? Yes.
No. Actually, I would say no, because I would say I definitely have had times where I've had the cards don't want to talk to my client, as opposed to a whole day where they won't talk to me. But there are some times where I feel the cards are almost blocking me with the person I'm trying to read.
I've definitely gotten that, but I've also gotten times when the cards are like, you need to sort out your shit. We'll be here when you get back.
Yeah, I've gotten that too. It's weird. I'll have either one. If I do too many readings, like shotgun too many readings in a row without proper like psychic protection, I'll just get exhausted so I can't read. But I'll also have times where the cards just won't talk to me because they're just like, no, we're done.
Sometimes
we're going on vacation.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I have times where like the deck I'm using or whatever, it's just not working. So I have to switch decks and then I'm good.
Oh my god. Yeah, on the days that they're not talking, I'm usually like, please.
Yeah. If I give you some snacks, will you help me?
Actually, the thing is, what I haven't had the time where the cards aren't helping is I realize that the reason why they don't want to talk to me for a specific client is because I need to do something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
need to do something else. What do you mean by that?
With a different style. So the thing is, that's where okay, like
or when the customer is straight up asking the wrong question.
Yeah, that's when I get blocked, and I figure out, okay, I'll put the deck down and I'll try to clarify what they're asking for, or I'll say, you know what, forget this deck, I'll pick up an oracle deck instead, or I'll just like not use anything and just let myself go into my clairvoyant thing and just kind of see what the heck I'm getting, if anything. And realizing the fact of, okay, this particular deck wasn't the right medium for this thing because sometimes it's me, sometimes it's the other person. The fact of their energy they're putting out is what's blocking everything. Mm-hmm. And it's like you're never sure at any individual time. Now, fortunately, I could say the number of times this has happened is a minority.
Yeah.
But still, it's like you get. I mean, I've only ever had one person who literally I couldn't read because it was just I tell the stories. It's like this is like one of my all-time worst readings. Even I gave it my best shot, but I had a I'm guessing like around a 70-year-old woman at one point a number of years ago. She came down with a puddle of black cloud energy and sat down and said, "My spirit guides have a message for me. I want you to tell me what it is." And my initial response was, "Lady, how the hell should I know?" And I literally tried, and the best I got out was, "Yes, there's a message for you. It's none of my goddamn business." That's what I said to her. I'm like going, well, she's like, "Well, you're not a very good psychic." I'm like going, "Well," I said, that's your opinion." And that's all it is your opinion, nothing more.
You're not a very good client.
I didn't want to say that. I'm Libra, so I don't say that to people.
No,
I say that now. I would never.
That's because you're fire. I'm air.
Have you ever gotten scared by a reading for someone else? Yep. I predicted a client's death, which is very awkward to ask them to give you money for that. but straight up, I did a reading for a woman at the New Hampshire Ren Fair a few years ago, and she had just found out that she needed a heart transplant. And she was having all sorts of moral quandaries about it, because she was like, in order for me to live, somebody else is going to have to die. And I was like, yes, that's generally how heart transplants work. So she wanted to know basically whether or not she was going to decide to take the heart, take the organ, have the surgery, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. And my reading was ultimately that she was going to ultimately decide not to, and that she was going to die. And her response to that was, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to live. And I was like, I absolutely 100% want you to prove me wrong. Come back next year and tell me that you did. Haven't seen her since.
Mm-hmm.
So I still think about her on occasion.
So
yes, I have absolutely gotten scared from reading other people on occasion.
I haven't had that level of thing, but I've kind of gotten the reverse, where I remember a couple of years ago, this was when we did one of our years at Cummington. I had a guy who was, I'm guessing, his mid-30s, and I asked, he wanted a palm reading. And I spent, for some reason, I focused really heavily on his lifeline. And I don't know why I did, because normally I really, really don't. But I kind of like, because I followed this very weird circuitous path, and I kind of projected, at least how long he was going to live. And of course, a lifeline really totally doesn't do that, but at least it gives you an estimate of certain aspects of, when life gets a little screwball. And I said, your lifeline kind of does some really screwball things here. But I said, but you have at least got to, I said, up until your mid-50s, that's when it starts to get really, really questionable. And he looked at me and he goes, are you sure about that? And I said, well, that's my interpretation of the line on your hand here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. And I went through the rest of it. Afterwards, he says, he said he was really, really appreciative, and I couldn't figure out why. And he told me, he said he'd been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he was 35 years old, and that he had given up his traditional treatments for something holistic. He didn't explain totally what, but apparently the day he had come to see me for the reading was the day, according to his regular old physician using the old treatments, this was the day he was supposed to be dead by. He wasn't supposed to live to see his 35th birthday or whatever it was. And I kind of said, well, you're still here. And I said, honestly, I can't tell you that you're going to be here long distance, but based on this, you're at least going to be here for another 20 years. And I said, maybe because of the way the fractures go here in your lines, I said, maybe the cancer finally gets you in your mid-50s. And he kind of goes, well, you know what? If that's what happens, if I got another 20 years ahead of me, I'll take it. So, and it's just, I left it kind of going, that was a strange reading. That's, but I didn't know that until after the fact.
Yeah, readings can get very heavy, which is partially why we do the private stream that we do, to still be able to give people an opportunity to discuss those heavy topics, even though we cannot be with people personally at events right now. And so it's the closest we can do, the safest space we can create for situations like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you get many clients that leave your booth with tears and tissues?
Yep.
Yes.
To the point where we bring tissues to events.
Mm-hmm.
They can get really, really emotional. Actually, I've had more people tear up for me in Salem, Mass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd say probably.
Salem Mass. The year that I did Salem Mass was the most emotional as far as days of readings. Because the year that I did Salem, one of the days that I was reading was the day that Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed. So that whole day, it wasn't just me, it was every psychic that was working with me in that particular space. All of us, we just got raped all day. Yeah.
Yep.
It can be rough sometimes.
It can be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is, sometimes, people don't know how much emotion they're sharing with you. They and of course sometimes they get down, they don't think they're going to, and then ultimately it just,
this is a form of therapy, and I
in a lot of ways it is, yes.
The amount of times that I recommend therapy in my readings, because I am not a mental health professional. He is not a mental health professional. Spoiler, we are not mental health professionals.
Neither are we.
Yeah.
But like literally a
Yes. We are not doctors, and we do not play them on TV either.
But a lot of times in readings, I do wind up being like, do you have a counselor? Do you have a therapist? Do you have? And if you don't have, let's talk about ways for you to get. Because we're like mini therapy. We're like gateway therapy.
Never heard it put that way before, but
Word. It sounds kind of screwy, but it's true.
Yeah.
All right. So
do you want to do another round of commercials?
we're going to do one final question, and then we will do round of commercials, and then we will sign off for the evening. It has been truly lovely. But I also think that this will be a nice question to end on, because hello, Carol. Is it true most readings can be negative? No.
Yeah.
Readings are what you make them. Readings themselves are neither positive nor negative. It is people that are being read. That's the question.
Right, and just because you get a reading doesn't mean you're going to get negative news either.
Right. The thing is, you never know what you're going to get. Now, I mean, you
Life is like a box of...
Go ahead, finish it.
Life is like a box of tarot cards. You never know what you're gonna get.
No, you definitely don't. You don't know. So, I'm not sure. Since Carol said, "Is it true most readings can be negative?" So I'm not quite sure where she heard that. Now,
that is actually because that Hollywood probably that's a stereotype that a lot of people have about readings.
Well, I would say that's actually getting back to Salem, Mass here. But the thing is, one of the things which I do more often there than anything else, which I think is strange. I have a deck, one of my Oracle decks, which is Angel Oracle, which I refer to as Tarot Light, because it only shows you the light side. It purposely does not show you anything in the dark side. And a lot of people down there ask for that deck a lot, and I will use it. I can't stand the deck, but I will use it because after all, it's the client and it's their reading. It's not my reading, so I'll do what they ask, and I think I do a pretty good job with it. But the whole idea is, and I tell them, I said, okay, this is the light I'm showing you. This is only half the coin. There is the flip side. This is heads. You didn't see tails yet. And so the thing is, now it could be that tails may be something you don't have to worry about, and heads may be the predominant thing, or it could be the flip side. You don't honestly know until you see both sides. So is it true most readings can be negative? I mean, the whole point of positive and negative sometimes is that it's a state of mind. It isn't the factual reality. Is, you give the same information to two different people. One person may view it in a very positive way, or a productive way, or an initial, or what? Well,
she has a follow-up comment. All the psychics I had read for me always said negative stuff to me and said that's the norm. There is no norm.
There's no norm.
So whoever's telling you that there's a norm is lying.
I was going to say, sounds like you need to actually talk to different psychics. Because there is light, there is darkness. It's called yin and yang. But the whole point of it is that there is always going to be both. I hate to say the phrase, but there's 50 shades of gray. Almost there's almost nothing which is pure white or pure black. I'm sorry, that's not, especially in human relations. I'm sorry, it's all the shade of gray.
All right, I gotta throw this comment up just because it's funny. I'm just sitting at the bar on Cheers.
Hey, Norm, what are you up to? My ideal weight if I were 10 feet tall. I love Cheers.
To get back to your comment about the
I wouldn't say that like a phony took your money. There are some psychics that deal very, very heavily, because this is the whole thing, is every psychic is different, and we all read different, and we all focus on different things. And yes, there will definitely be some psychics that deal and dwell far more in the negative. Me personally, I try to keep a good balance, because there's light and dark in life, and you cannot escape either of them, so you have to deal with both of them. But to dwell in one over the other is not good either.
Right.
Way.
The fact that, like, take a look at how the Earthbound situation right now. I mean, right now we're in the middle of a COVID pandemic. There is a lot of overall very, very bad things happening out there right now. And yeah, you can get very well bogged down in that darkness. But the whole idea is the fact of it's your choice to let the darkness bog you down. Life gives you lemons. Some people basically whine about it. Others make lemonade. I know it sounds very corny, but the whole idea is so much of it is based upon you and how you want to handle things. Some people, it's something bad happens to them, and that's a motivator to actually turn it around and make it better. It's just one of the famous quotes, which I always give you: pressure
Changes everything.
Pressure changes everything. Squeeze people. Some focus, others fold. And that's the whole point with the light and the darkness. So is that how you handle any situation, a good situation or a bad situation, is totally up to you, because what's good to you is not necessarily going to be good to the next person. And what's bad to you is not necessarily going to be what's bad to the next person. How do you handle it? How do you deal with it? So,
Amanda and Celeste,
anything to follow with that little diatribe we just went on?
Yeah, sorry, we sort of went running with that.
Well, two things. One, how very Libra scales of you, the whole balance thing. Yes, I can appreciate that. Another thing, getting back to your angel deck for people that don't want to see anything negative. That's one reason why I like the Hanson Roberts tarot, is because even the negative cards don't look, well, I mean, not that death is necessarily negative, but they don't tend to scare people as much.
Mm-hmm.
They still have the imagery there, but they don't have, they're a little more approachable.
That's true. There are some pictures in the traditional Rider-Waite deck which look really like, I don't really think of any tarot card personally as really, really great or really, really awful, but some of the pictures in the Rider-Waite deck really kind of like, they do get that whole really negative thing more than anything else. What does Carol say here?
You're welcome, Carol.
Yes. You are very welcome, Carol. You should talk to us.
Absolutely.
More often. we can help you see the light and the dark. But yeah, anyway, like I remember seeing when I started first reading from the Rider-Waite deck, the Tower, which gets I think like one of the worst raps in the tarot deck. Picture in the Rider-Waite deck literally is of a tower on fire and someone falling out of it to their death. Great picture.
It's beautiful.
Versus the Dragon Tarot, where the tower there is very different. You see a tower that's on fire and a very large dragon that's encircled it, and the tower is on this rocky island, which is also being battered by this storm. And so you can basically say, okay, looking at the picture as face value, you can't tell if that dragon's having a mood and is destroying his own tower,
or if he's trying to hold it up,
trying to protect the storm. But either way, you say one thing's going to happen: that tower is coming down. That's the reality you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Without necessarily the negative or positive intention. It's like it's coming down. Major change is on your way, whether you like it or not.
Major change is disruptive, but oftentimes good at the end.
Yeah, that's often a hard one to like explain to people. I found is like they're like, "Oh my God, there's change. It's bad," and I'm like, "No, change isn't necessarily bad. It's
just change.
More good. It's just change."
That's
right. Change is change.
Either way, yeah. Change is change.
Well, yeah, change is it's yin and yang. Change for change's sake. Change is just a change. Yeah. Whether it becomes good or bad is what do you do with it?
Yeah.
So this is the Golden Thread Tarot. So you'll see that it still has
so pretty,
neat.
But it has that nice like eye with the light shining out. So I feel like it's similar in that same kind of it could be either way sort of thing. Mm-hmm. It's not so gloomy.
Okay, and yeah, so see, I thought that would be a good note to end on, because we can a nice positive note to end on. So one final round of commercials for everyone. So I will start with us because I got this down. So hello, the two of us in this box here. We are Lord Fafnir and Spawn Psychic Readers, and you can find us on our website, www.fafnirandSpawn.com. We also are on Facebook at Lord Fafnir and Spawn Psychic Readers. you can book with us directly on our Facebook page, message our Facebook page. It's actually easier to contact us on our Facebook page than it is on our website, just because Facebook is more user-friendly in that way. On our Facebook page, we have a fancy schmancy book now button that actually lists every single service that we do, and you can schedule ourselves in the calendar that it will show to you. It's really, really cool. We also have a YouTube channel, Lord Fafnir and Spawn Psychic Readers, where these streams are all uploaded so that you can watch them forever and ever and ever, because we are hilarious. Also are on Instagram at Fafnir and Spawn, where we do daily tarot draws. So we are doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and we're about to add something else very, very soon too.
We are. So coming up on next Friday, we are doing our next private stream event, which $20 to get you into the stream. And that gets you a reading of your choice with either reader of your choice or both of us. Like I said, this is more of the group therapy-ish scenario where this is meant to talk about the heavier topics that people generally don't want to talk about in our public streams, because we generally don't want to air our dirty laundry on the internet that way. So that will be next Friday. And we are also starting a new video segment that will be All This Man. Do you want to tell them about it?
You gonna let me talk for a change? No, she's so good with the commercial. That's why no, actually. So yes, we're about to launch a new segment similar to our daily draw. Only it won't be very daily. It'll be whenever it comes to me, so to speak, because I'm actually going to be talking more about my abilities as the clairaudient. Where I mentioned earlier that I've been getting a lot of messages that are coming in the form of popular songs. Well, we've been shooting some videos of some of the ones that have come into my head, and messages that are actually meant for me and to give to you. So those are going to be coming out very, very shortly, and you get to hear me sing, by the way, because that's how it comes to no, I'm not like it's a whole sing-along thing or anything like that, but I get like a piece of a song, and this happens to me in readings, in private readings, where I literally will all of a sudden just burst into a piece of a fragment of a song, because that's what's coming to my head. It's part of the reading. We're going to be doing some videos about that to share with all of you, because like Daily Draw, it's an overall message for all of you. So the first one will be coming out tomorrow. Well, I guess as soon as our master editor, who's also our master sound man, finishes the editing with it, whenever it'll be ready.
He's really good at what he does.
Yes, he is.
All right. So the commercial portion for us is over, except for if you would like to tip and or donate during our free things, we have a lovely PayPal link, paypal.me/Fafnir and Spawn. Anything helps, especially during these pandemic times. There are some people who are still not back to work, unfortunately. And now let us change our brand and our banners for the second round of commercials.
Oh, we're going with Star and Al first this time.
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, that's me. Hi.
You get to play Vanna White now for the next minute.
So you see the Etsy shop on there. That's where I have my readings, both tarot as well as the crystal divination. I also have some learn how to read tarot resources up there now. There's a book, then there's a tarot journal kit and a tarot spreads kit with like worksheets and stuff. I also do healing, crystal healing, and Reiki, and I have crystals for sale and tarot decks, but that's at my other website, amandamcellany.com. And if you go there, you can see crystal properties listed on each item description as well. And I also have a class on there, an online class that's for crystal grids, how to do them and what they're all about and all that kind of stuff. Did I miss anything?
You got the things you do.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And then Celeste, you're about to be up as soon as she switches everything. There we go.
So yes, and I am Celeste, and I have Blue Dragon Collectibles. So fun, fantastical sculpture, dragons, gnomes, trolls, fun things like that. Another sample of my dudes, because I brought multiples to show. This happens to be one of my favorites that I did.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Like a random, yeah. So stuff. I have just random things, and I also do customs. I also do readings. I just don't have them listed anywhere because organization is not my forte. So yes, so you can find me at Facebook and on my website, which has a bunch of stuff for sale. But I also, my heart is really with customs, so I like people talking to me about it. So
Very
I'm
good.
a gamer.
So, on that note, I do believe this
Well,
stream is drawing to a close.
Thank you guys for coming on tonight. I hope you enjoyed being on as much as we had enjoying listening to your banter.
This was extremely
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Someone was better at all times.
It's so nice to basically listen to an echo of us.
Pretty much.
And so for anybody else that is watching, the event for our next private stream will be up tomorrow, and you can book your slot there. You can book your slot by messaging us. It's a lovely little group thing that we do, and we have 10 slots, 9 slots, something like that.
I think the last time we had a dozen actually.
Mm-hmm. So please come and
Yes.
do some really in-depth readings with us.
Anybody who basically pays for a slot will get a reading. This is one of the things that where we will literally we're not on for a certain time frame. We'll be on as long as we have to make sure everyone has their reading.
This is why we do it on Fridays, so that when we go really late,
And we do. We have before gone late.
then nobody has to worry about getting up for work in the morning. We try to be considerate in
exactly.
that way. Except for the people that have to work on Saturdays, but we do our best.
Well, if you have to consider it, sure, go first.
So Amanda and Celeste, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you again.
Thank you
I was
for
really happy that you guys wanted to do this.
This was fun. I didn't expect it first, but it has just been very chill and very fun.
Yeah.
And out there and wherever you are, thank you all for watching us again. Because after all, if you weren't watching us, we wouldn't be doing these things.
Absolutely. So shall we do our outro, my lord?
We shall. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.